right, we are here back in the BizApps classroom, and this time we are live at DynamicsMinds 2024. I'm here with my co-host, Julie Ack. Hey, Julie.
Hey, Jason. How's the conference going for you?
It's going pretty well. We're sharing a mic, which always makes it interesting, but we have a new guest this time. We have Joe Griffin. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning. How's it going?
It's going well. How's the show going for you so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's exceeded expectations. I did hear a lot of really good buzz about this event last year, the photos and everything, but I think the organisers here, the attention to detail has just been phenomenal across all of the days. So definitely looking forward to DynamicsMinds 2025, I would say.
Yeah, it's easy to understand why people came away from the first one so energized, and that attention to detail really has caught my attention too.
As a speaker, especially because I've gotten more support as a speaker at this event than any marquee event that I have spoken at, where the technical support, the people who proactively come to help and make sure things are going, is definitely something that they've paid attention to and gotten right here. Just
really good communication throughout, so really major props to all the team involved, very consistent communications channels, making sure that we are involved as part of it, and just the logistics as well, having to get 50, 60 people all the way from from Venice to here and stuff like that. It's just, can't praise them enough, really, I would say.
And even this morning's session after last night's big party night, we still had 20 or so people in our session at 9 o'clock this morning with, seeing photos of people out till 5 a.m. I'm okay with 20 people that show up a few hours later.
Yeah, that singer was something else last night, though. I thought he was pretty amazing. I quite like his set list as well. I'm quite into all the sort of the Britpop, the 90s, 80s sort of stuff. So he really hit the mark for me. So
yes, but I remember the 80s and the 90s.
Well, I'm technically an 80s kid, 89, so I can claim to be an 80s kid, but whether I remember much of it always debatable, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't stay for the whole thing, but even from my room, I cracked my window open and I was listening to the rest of the music. It was it just kept going, but yeah, it was definitely a fun time. And have you been presenting some sessions here as well, Joe?
Yeah, so I did a session yesterday, tips and tricks how to become a Power Platform developer. So kind of just sharing some learnings from my own journey. And I think really just trying to break down any sort of, I guess, barriers people might have in their minds around getting into, tech, getting into Power Platform specifically. Because, we still, I think what makes this, the BizApps community quite amazing is just the diversity of the people there. And we really need to be sort of focusing on the next generation, getting people involved and just making it easy for them to do so. So, the session really was just around sharing the resources, learning resources, the good stuff we got on Microsoft Learn, all the community stuff, and just showing, how easy it is just to get involved, really.
That's interesting because from my perspective, almost anyone could be attending that session, no matter where they're starting from. And at this event in particular, my sense is people are coming from a lot of different sort of professional backgrounds, whether it's, I think there's certainly a lot of AX and finance and operations representation here. Quite a bit of BC, but any of those who are interested in Power Platform probably could have come to this session. And if they are thinking about moving their career in that direction, perhaps, or building their skills in that area, I don't know, did you get a sense of sort of who was there?
I think I had a marine biologist yesterday with a full degree, PhD and stuff like that, who now is sort of working with tech. So you hear all sorts of weird and wonderful journeys in terms of how people have started out, hairdressers, lawyers, accountants, all that sort of stuff. So it's all good experience, and I think it really does demonstrate that, if you have a mind and a focus in terms of wanting to get into this, then nothing can stop you, really. So
yeah, and I've seen a lot of Dynamics coverage. We know in the industry that Power Platform is the key as well. Maybe we'll get some more Power Platform as things go along, as this audience learns more about how Power Platform is the foundational element of so much of what Dynamics is today.
Yeah, I think the copilots is going to be interesting in that regard. So similar to like what we saw a few years ago with all the SharePoint people suddenly going, hey, Power Platform, Canvas apps, what's all this good stuff? I think we're going to see again maybe a drive of people going, oh, Copilot Studio, oh yeah, I can extend Copilot. So, for that reason, it's going to be important that, for us, old timers, maybe for lack of a better term. I'm saying myself there, Julie, not you. So, so to make sure that we're educating and just showing, okay, this is cool, but don't forget that you need to be doing things this way. Don't forget about Dataverse. Don't forget about ALM governance. All that sort of good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you brought up Copilot Studio, and it's still such a new, it's evolved from an older product, but it's still fairly new as its own thing. Do you see people becoming sort of specialists just in Copilot Studio based on what you've seen from it so far? Or is it just going to be one tool that someone who's more of a Power Platform professional might be using?
I think because the out of the box Copilots, M365 for Copilot, the Copilot in offerings, all that sort of stuff, they're designed for very specific uses cases. And I think if anything has taught us, from the years of doing, Dynamics CRM, the years of doing, Dynamics 365, that there's always going to be a need to go deeper. People don't always, fit into, the round hole, the square peg type things. So with the Copilot Studio, it's going to give us the ability to bring more custom data in, modernize certain aspects of it. I think there was a really interesting demo that Charles Lamanna did where he showed Copilot Studio able to integrate with SAP. SAP at the moment is going to be a million years behind doing anything sort of similar. So it provides those opportunities where you've maybe got something a little bit too clunky, a little bit too unwieldy, but ultimately something you can't remove. Copilot Studio can be there to maybe help you out with that.
Well, and as we get those in-product copilots maturing and doing more things, I think it'll give us more ideas on how we can extend the copilots with Copilot Studio to use in our own business scenarios.
Yeah, and Microsoft are never going to be able to cover, all of the use cases. So there's an opportunity there for end customers to fill those gaps themselves, hopefully in an easy way. Good opportunity for partners. They can build their own custom solutions on top of it and extend it out. So, should hopefully be a win-win scenario, I'd hope.
So we talked about having you on the podcast. We're all about learning and training. That's why we're called The Classroom. We wanted to talk with you about some certification changes that we're seeing, where some certs are being retired. There's a new one coming out. It's called the Microsoft Certified Dynamics 365 Customer Experience Analyst Associate.
That would sound really good on the CV, I think. Yeah, definitely.
I think so. Yeah, I think you have to use a smaller font to get that one.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
But I think how we got here was that there's so much commonality between the salesy side of Dynamics 365 that we've got that core element that's covered by this, and we've been seeing these applied skills. So, Joe, how do you think that that's going to impact what people are doing and partners, and what are your thoughts on this new cert?
Well, I think it's going to be interesting how it sort of plays out. So, I mean, the applied skills is an example, it's something I'm a huge fan of. So if you haven't already checked them out, they are there and available on the Learn website. You basically just get like a bit of a lab environment, a bit of a set of instructions if you're actually, delivering a solution for an actual company. And you basically then just go off, build it, and get scored. So that as a concept, I think is quite powerful because the issue that's always been with the certifications is that if you are almost sort of like memorizing all the questions and doing all that sort of stuff, you're not really, I guess, showing competency. Whereas the applied skills, you get to a point there where it can be sort of done. And the customer data platform seems to be the new direction in terms of where things are going generally. So selling a whole solution, not just about sales anymore, not just about marketing, but something that's maybe a bit more all-encompassing. Which when you look at the value of a solution like Dynamics 365, that's what it's all about. Having it end-to-end, unified, combined, and stuff like that, which is quite a compelling offer, I'd say.
Yeah, we've for years talked about the 360-degree view that you get within Dynamics if you're taking advantage of all the different components that we have available on offer.
And Julie, correct me if I got this wrong, but there's even more changes coming to sort of the way that certs will follow customer insights modules, and perhaps the way those interact with, or how Microsoft wants to see learners interacting with that technology in combination with some of the more traditional CRM technology that they offer, right?
Well, we're seeing 3 certs retire. So we're seeing the sales cert retire, the customer insights journeys retire, and the customer insights data. So basically sales, marketing, and CDP, customer data platform. And those, I hope, will be soon replaced with those applied skills that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I guess we've been kind of fortunate on the BizApp side because the list of exams and certifications has been fairly static. It used to be, well, back when I started out at least, that, every big version, CRM 2015, 2016, you'd have a whole bunch of new exams, whereas there's been a bit of, I guess, feels like, 2-3 years of calm. So I guess it's maybe not unexpected that maybe we're due a bit of a change here. And I think, if it gets to a point where we are hopefully trying to assess candidates on what they can actually practically do rather than what they've just memorized from a list somewhere, then I think, we're moving in the right direction.
Well, and we're able to renew our certs on Learn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
where
that's
you're
really good.
only tested on the net difference in a free environment where you can take it as many times as you need to. I need to renew my sales one before sales cert is no longer relevant. So I'll be working on that. I have already personally failed the assessment once, but I just tried it out because there's no better practice test than the actual test. So tried it out. Now I know what I need to update on, and I'll go take it again and renew that cert.
But they are pretty good. It's open book exam. You've got all the material there in the Learn units. So just read through those. Watch a couple of the videos and the exercises there. You should be in a good position to repass that, and get rid of that drudgery. Okay, I've got to have to pass another exam. I'm going to have to spend another $130, £90, however much it is to pass it. So yeah, definitely good from that standpoint.
Should we talk more about sort of the CDP concept and where that needs to go with CRM? Because I think it's come up a few times for me at this event even. I don't know. Do you spend much time with the customer insights products these days, or do you see customers in need of them when you're working with clients?
It's come up on a few occasions. I think the experiences out of the box in terms of being able to grab a whole bunch of data from different sources and then start to really understand and get to that single source of truth for a customer. The customer insights data product does that pretty nicely. And you can get to a nice point where you can bring all these metrics together. So I think as we're starting to see, as things are evolving at pace, as customers are being more fickle and picky in terms of who they're going with, solutions like this are going to become important so that we can just really understand, habits and how we can sort of increase retention.
Yeah, the reason I ask is I felt like when those products, the insights and now the marketing now called journeys, kind of came into existence, they really were built almost independent of the existing sort of CE application suite, right? I mean, that's how it looked anyway from the demos, and I know they had connections, but it does feel like now there's more demand to bring that into the fold, make it look more cohesive, make it a more cohesive element of what clients are investing in, perhaps. And I guess the maturity, watching it mature, is maybe where I'm sort of spending some of my time trying to understand where it's going next.
Well, I guess there's a reason as well at the moment why Google is so interested in HubSpot as an acquisition as well. That probably tells its own story about where they see the direction going.
And it's been a while since we've had one of these sort of buzzy acquisition rumor stories kind of going around. That was really a big deal for a while, especially on the marketing side, right? But that sort of died down. But yeah, maybe that will sort of spark more of this conversation. Great point.
And the marketing app has had a pretty interesting history. I mean, I remember the old MDM app back in the day, that was sort of retired off and just completely redeveloped from scratch. And what's happening now on the real-time journey side of things, looks pretty interesting. So hopefully the future's bright from a Microsoft standpoint there.
So Joe, from here, what's next for you? Are there more events coming up? Are you speaking other places? What's in your agenda?
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to EPPC, European Power Platform Conference. That's happening in Brussels in a few weeks' time. So the team there organised some really great events. They started it in Berlin 2 years ago, where I was there for, and then last year in Dublin. So that'll be a really good week. We've got some good people from Microsoft coming over as well. So really looking forward to meeting and seeing people. And then later on this year, we've got the big one, Microsoft Power Platform Conference.
Yes, we've been talking about that here and there. I'll be there. I've got a workshop to deliver. So do you, yeah?
Yeah, PowerFX, all about PowerFX deep dive. So yeah, if you're interested, let me know and I can maybe whistle up a nice little discount code maybe.
And then you can turn that discount, that $100 into big bucks because it's in Vegas.
Yeah, well, I had really bad history in Vegas a few years ago. I was up about 1,500 on Thursday night, had a really good run on the slots. Saturday morning, guess what? All gone.
Yes.
Yeah. Know when to quit basically with it. So, but yeah, it's going to be my first Power Platform conference. Were you there last year, Julie?
Yes, I was there. It was definitely a good experience. Glad to be going back. So for the event in Brussels, Have you spent much time in Brussels before?
Yeah, I've been a few times. So I was there last year for an event. Also did a conference pre-COVID. That's going back to, I think 2016, 2017 now. So Brussels is a really nice city. We're quite fortunate in Europe in terms of some of the places and the venues we get to go to.
Well, I have some good food recommendations for you there.
Okay,
I'll
go on.
point you to the right place to get the best Flemish stew.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah.
And then the best waffles.
Nice. Well,
Right.
last time I was there, I had this sort of local drink. I think they called it, was it lembic or something? But I think the characteristic was that it's basically brewed using specific bacteria that they find literally in the swamp in the back there. Quite a sort of sweet, sort of like cherry-based sort of thing. So that was quite interesting. So maybe a bit more lembic this time.
Yes. So I'll get you those links and we'll share some with our show notes also.
Yeah, sounds good.
So thank you so much for your time, Joe. I really
worries.
appreciate it. Always good to chat. And I'm actually anxiously awaiting seeing some of these new changes with the certs. It's nice to see forward movement on some of this stuff.
Yeah, so definitely keep an eye on what's happening. Do check out the applied skills. If you haven't, get a couple of those in. And just, use the opportunity to learn and grow. This is really going to help put your skills into practice and get you to a point where you can demonstrate to an employee, to your employers, or a new or to your colleagues that you not only not only talk the talk, but also walk the walk.
And Joe, where can listeners find you and see what you're up to?
So I'm on the socials, so quite active on X and LinkedIn. You can also find me on my blog as well, crmchat.co.uk. Yeah, so just feel free to reach out if you've got any questions just around Power Platform development or exams and skills like that. I'm more than happy to help.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks so much for being here. Great to get a chance to chat with you.
Great to see you.
Thanks for listening to this episode recorded live at the DynamicsMinds 2024 conference. To learn more about our guests and the event, please check out links in the show notes. You can also find more information on the BizApps Classroom podcast, including past episodes, how to get a discount on an annual plan at 365.training, and how to keep up with the community. To reach us, you can send an email, julie@365.training or jason@msdynamicsworld.com. We'll see you next time in the BizApps Classroom.